Environmental law is an important part of our day-to-day living and expands well beyond the development of land, mining, waste management, monitoring and reduction of pollution, and is often part of the hot debate regarding climate change. It is a well-known fact that legislation is a fundamental pillar in the navigation of critical environmental decisions within Australia. An example of this is the China Stone Coal Project, which challenged our current legislation by way of debate on the impacts, benefits, and disadvantages of an open-cut coal mine in correlation with our environmental values and protection laws. The China Stone Coal Project was a project that Mac Mines Proprietary Limited proposed to the Environmental Minister that raised considerable concerns about the flora, fauna, and ecological communities that may be at risk as the detriment of a project arises. In order for the project to be appropriately approved, the Minister must assess the proposal and consider any adverse impacts to the environment pursuant to Australian environmental laws. The highest governing act nationwide in this regard is the Environmental Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act of 1999, which fundamentally aims to protect the environment, promote sustainable development, and enhance Australia's capacity to ensure conservation of the nation's biodiversity. The China Stone Coal Project required an assessment regarding ecological sustainable development and the possible impact to the environment in this regard, whereby the Department of Environment deemed the activity as a controlled action. A controlled action is where an activity has the potential to affect national matters of environmental significance. Generally, when determining ecological sustainable development, the precautionary principle is applied. If a concern arises regarding damage and a requirement for assessment of possible risk, weighted options apply. The principle is then considered pursuant to state capability. Secondly, these matters of significance are defined by Commonwealth statute, and subsequently the proposal was referred to the federal government. Despite the coal mine being located in Queensland, the assessment and approval process was judged at a Commonwealth level. This results from the requirement of concurrent approvals at both state and Commonwealth level, whereby matters of national environmental significance are concerned, which are not to say a detriment to the assessment process. If anything, the Commonwealth Act aims to provide a process that is equal parts efficient and timely, thus streamlining the procedure and accrediting the state-level assessments for this purpose. Although the federal government cannot make law in this regard, they do have authority to determine the law pursuant to Section 51 of Australia's Constitution. The concurrent approval process can be considered as a bilateral agreement, which illustrates thorough governing of environmental laws within Australia. Consequently, and pursuant to the EPBCA, an environmental impact statement is required in order to complete and finalise the assessment process. The EPBCA has the final approval and may approve projects subject to certain provisions. This bilateral and thorough administrative process of environmental legislation highlights the importance and significance of environmental actions governed by both state and federal authorities in Australia.